Okay, I know we're old, but is anyone else annoyed when kids walk into youth group with their earbuds in? And what are they listening to anyway? We probably don't want to know. On this episode of the Youth Ministry Sherpas Coast to Coast podcast, Shannon, Brock, and I rant a little bit, but we also ask ourselves the question, what role can we play in helping our students learn media discernment? And maybe some manners too. So put away your Walkman, roll down the windows, and let's get started. Hey friends, welcome back to the Youth Ministry Sherpas Coast to Coast podcast. My name's Steve Anderson. I am joined by my friends Brock and Shannon. Hey guys.
Hi, Steve.
What is up, my friends?
We are proud members of the Download Youth Ministry family of podcasts. So we are all in the studio today. It's exciting. Doesn't happen often enough. Good to see you guys on this lovely day.
Yes. It's kind of rainy here in Southern California,
It
actually.
is.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful in Maryland. I just got back from a 5-day golf trip.
Oh my gosh,
What?
Steve.
I golfed 6 times in 4 days.
Wow.
Not very well, which means I hit a lot of golf shots.
Yes, you did.
I
Yeah,
was-
reps
Yeah.
are important.
Reps are important. I told my playing partners I had spent more time in the sand than the cast of Baywatch.
Yeah,
It
where
was
did
fun.
you go? Where'd you go?
We went to Williamsburg, Virginia,
Oh, fun.
about
Pretty.
4 hours south of here, 3.5 hours.
Yeah, Williamsburg is
some-
great.
Some great courses down there. And
I'd be willing
it
to
was
bet my life that Shannon has never been to Williamsburg, Virginia.
good. Shannon's never been to Virginia.
I've never been to the East Coast of the
Oh my
United
gosh.
States.
I can't believe
Shannon.
you have never been to New York City.
Nope.
You've got to
Oh my
come to
gosh.
DC, Shannon. You
I-
got to come
DC
to
is the
DC.
best.
I have it on my list. I have multiple friends within.
I'm your friend, Shannon. You can come
You're
here.
on the list. Within 3 hours of DC, I have probably 6 people on a list to
Yeah.
see. So
I'm only like 55 minutes, so
yeah.
pop on over.
Yeah, DC in particular is an underrated city. When
Yeah.
people come to it, they don't know what to do. They just go to like the main mall area and go to museums, but there's so much more.
Yeah, there's a
don't
lot to
know.
do.
They
There's
don't
a
know.
lot to do.
DC strikes up childhood trauma for me
Oh.
because not really trauma, it's a joke. But in 8th grade, our school had a trip to Washington, D.C. If you were on the honor roll, I qualified for it. And I asked my parents to go, and they said, no, we'll just go as a family someday. We'll
Oh
take
my
you.
gosh.
Which now, looking back, I recognize was we don't have the money to send you on the trip.
Oh, that's so
Probably.
sad.
But to this day, I'm like, cool, I never got to go to Washington, D.C. You guys are liars. We never went as a family,
Yeah.
you know? So,
Oh, you want to know how I got my first trip to Williamsburg? I was in 8th grade, and we had a trip planned to the local amusement park. I think it's we were going to, where were we going? Cedar Point, maybe in Ohio? No,
Mhm.
not Cedar Point. Maybe Kennywood. Maybe Kennywood in Pittsburgh. 8th grade. Eighth.
Places we have never heard of.
Well,
Okay.
Anyway, we're supposed to go, and I had a girlfriend in 8th grade,
Oh.
and she was going to be on this
Oh.
trip, and
Wow.
I overslept and missed the bus,
Oh, no.
and they left. And my parents felt so bad that they said, we're going to leave for vacation 2 days early, and we got in the car and we drove to Williamsburg and went to Busch Gardens.
all right.
Oh, my
So
gosh.
Shannon, my parents loved me.
I know, apparently.
That is love right there.
I'm sorry to dredge up your childhood trauma.
See, I lived across the bridge from the Jefferson Memorial. So
Did you?
right there, DC. It's
All right.
I would ride my bike almost every day. Throughout DC. It was so fun. We
Yeah.
loved living there.
Anyway,
guys, what are we
We
talking
spent-
about
we spent a
today?
lot of time talking about Disneyland on this show, so it's
We
about time we
do.
talk about Washington, D.C.
All right. That's
I'm not
King's
fair.
fair.
Dominion.
From DC.
King's Dominion.
There you go.
Steve.
King's Dominion is great. Lost my hat on that volcano ride there. Anyway, so yeah, we are struggling today. We've been actually on this call for like an hour. We are all lost. It is a lost Monday. But anyway, we're going to do 3 segments today. We're going to start off with some light conversation. I'd love to hear from you guys. What role does music play in your youth ministry, and what were your favorite bands when you were a kid?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
This
Is
is
music?
such a hard question because for me, music was everything as a kid.
Well, your
Right.
parents were rock stars.
Right.
Oh, yeah, well, there's that. But I mean,
Oh, I thought that's what he was talking about.
like, no. Like,
Yeah.
so Christian music when I was a kid was huge.
Hmm.
It was a huge thing. But then secular music was also, I mean, like, I'm thinking like when I'm in middle school, this is the 80s. And you got Michael Jackson Thriller.
Mhm.
And now I was younger. I was probably like 4th grade during that. But then you also have, I mean, there's just such good music. And then when I became like a teenager, we're in the 90s, and that's grunge music. And dude, the 90s are such good music. And then Christian music got huge in the 90s, even better, I think.
Right. Yeah.
And I was listening to all that. Picking one artist is tough. I have a feeling I could pick Shannon's, though.
From what age? What age of my life are you going to pick the artist?
Well, I'm going to say when you were 16.
Okay.
Switchfoot.
Yeah, maybe when I was 17 and 18, because here's the thing. I didn't know Christian music existed until like somewhere after the age of 16 about.
Okay,
It
so I'm a little early.
It may have been even later than that. I'm trying to remember if I knew Christian music existed before I went to a youth specialty conference at 18.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. Now, what radio station did you listen to out here in LA?
Oh, K-Rock.
K-Rock, okay.
K-Rock, yeah.
So K-Rock
I
played
knew
Switchfoot.
Yeah, I knew Switchfoot, but I don't think I related them as a Christian band.
Right.
Until I went to a youth specialties conference in like 2002 or 2003. But, you know, when I was in elementary school, it was whatever music my dad listened to. So I was listening to the Beatles and the Who. Like that was it, you know.
Awesome.
And then in high school, it was whatever was on K-Rock, so rock, grunge, those things. But what's interesting is that I was talking to someone about how those rock stations still play the same songs from like the 90s and early 2000s because no one's really making that kind of music anymore that I know of. I can't find like new bands doing that kind of stuff. So
we should talk about that too.
Yeah.
It's harder for kids to find good Christian music today, I think.
I could see that.
And there's reasons for that, but
yeah, it's all worship music, I feel like.
Oh my gosh, please.
Yeah. Oh man, but when I went to a youth specialties conference and I discovered like Skillet and 1,000 Foot Crutch, and then oh gosh, what were some of the rap groups that I was like, Christians are doing this kind of music. This is the cool. I literally bought like 40 CDs at my first youth specialties. Like I thought, I had no idea. I was like, I didn't know Christians were doing this. It was like really eye-opening to me, honestly.
We would give door prizes, CDs as door prizes.
Yes.
Every Wednesday night at youth group. And the local Christian music store was so like generous to us. And I would be handing out Christian music like crazy. It was a big, like we went to Christian concerts all the time.
Yeah.
I haven't taken this youth group. I took 3 kids to see, I'm actually wearing their shirt, to see Colony House. Are you guys familiar with Colony House?
Yeah.
They're so good.
They're great.
And they're
from Nashville.
They're not really a Christian band, but they are Stephen Curtis Chapman's sons. So they're a Christian band.
Brock, when you were in California, did you ever go to maybe all the Six Flags in the country do it, but they would do a Christian music festival day at Magic Mountain, Six Flags.
Oh yeah.
We would take
we went to that. Group. We went there. We went to Knott's Berry Farm for the same thing. I saw the Supertones and all those bands. We saw Jars of Clay at Knott's Berry Farm, and they were singing their hit at the time, which was Flood.
Flood.
Now, there's a stage at Knott's Berry Farm where the water streams down from the ceiling in between the band and the audience. Thick water. So they start playing Flood, and that water starts flowing, and you're watching the band through the water.
Wow.
It was insane. Oh, the crowd went nuts. I couldn't believe it.
You guys, my family is currently at Knott's Berry Farm. So weird.
That's so weird.
It's weird that you talked
All
about
right,
that.
Steve, tell us, you're a teenager. Who's your number one band?
That's like the early 80s. So I was really into The Police was big, Billy Joel.
Yes.
I was a huge Billy Joel fan. Elton John, Bruce Springsteen, James Taylor, like all the good 70s, 80s stuff.
Okay, yeah.
But probably Billy Joel
Billy Joel,
and The Police.
singer-songwriter-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first Christian band I ever heard was when Kansas came out with their first Christian album. And I was like, wow, this is wild. And I didn't know any Christian music until the 90s. And then I kind of I missed the whole grunge and went right into Christian music, got super into Christian music. And so, all that old early 90s stuff. I'm still a huge Rich Mullins fan to this day.
Yeah, he would kind of be our singer-songwriter.
Yeah, well, he had a lot of depth. Yeah.
So, great
still
lyrics.
My jam. Yep.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Today I think kids are mostly listening to worship music. It's all, Brandon Lake and all that stuff. And I know they tour and kids go to those tours. They were just in the area for one of those,
Yeah, our families will go.
Yeah.
Like a family, and they have teenagers. Will go see a worship concert here locally, here in LA and or Orange County, and that's a big thing.
It's just
I'm
not my thing.
taking kids to. I feel like there's a swing though. There's a positive movement in Christians making rad music again.
Yeah.
Well,
that's not worship.
There's a chance for people to make their own independent music now. It's a lot easier. So I have a son who does that, and he can record and get produced and put it out on Spotify on his own. Doesn't need a label.
That's right.
To do that. So I think there's really great music out there. It's just there's so much. It's like cable television. Like you got Hulu, Netflix, Prime, Disney, whatever. There's so much to watch. You can't watch it all.
Yeah.
The radio plays the same 15 Mercy Me songs and Hillsong songs.
I can't even listen to Christian radio anymore.
But the great music, in my opinion, is all on Spotify if you can find the independent artists writing some good music out there.
Yeah.
So no more free CDs though.
I don't know how to discover it. Without you specialties, I don't know how to discover artists.
Well, just go to Spotify and then let it play after the thing you like, and the stuff that comes out later is usually pretty good. So I can send you. Do you guys remember
Interlink?
Yes.
No.
So Interlink would send you.
Box. Yeah.
They would send you a box of Christian music.
Oh yeah.
With like posters. 10 CDs.
Yeah.
And then they kept you in the loop of current artists, and I think they still exist.
Huh.
They have the whole sounds like thing. There's a whole chart of like this band sounds like this Christian band sounds like this secular band, and
why
which
don't
is
they
like the ultimate bad way of talking about art.
The Wow CDs.
We need the Wow CDs.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway,
let's move to our next segment. Speaking about music, we all have walked into our youth group and seen the kids with the headphones in their ears, and it is enough to make you want to rip the ears off their head. So in addition to that, which is like the rudest thing possible, to walk into youth group with earbuds in.
Even listening to music?
I don't even know what they're doing. I think they think it looks cool.
It's like a
dude,
fashion
let's just talk about this for a second. So we'll pick up kids and hang out, and they'll jump in my car with their headbuds in.
Why?
Or earbuds, sorry.
Yeah.
Or what Shannon is wearing, the full
Beats.
Yeah. And I'm like, we're talking. What are you doing? Get that off your head right now. Like, are you joking? And how I'll begin it, I'll be like, are you listening to something? Like, I have music playing in the car. Are you listening to something? Yes. So then I go, okay, take the earbuds out and we'll play what you want to play.
Yeah.
in the car. So we're all listening to the same thing. You jerk.
And then
You
you,
know
end
what?
up listening
Come
to Joe
on.
Rogan, right?
Oh my gosh.
You know what it reminds me of, which I think is so nerdy? Do you remember when like Bluetooth earpieces first came out and launched to talk on your cell phone, and like only like business dudes would be like walking around wearing them, and I was
Yes.
always like, oh, what a
So
tool.
lame.
Why are you walking around wearing that? And now kids are doing it with their like, so I still look at them like, oh, you're such a tool.
Dude, we have some young leaders who walk around with the headphones, and I'm like, we're at youth group.
No.
Get the headphones off your head.
Be present, people. Be present.
Oh my gosh, it drives me. That one, especially the headphones, but the earbuds too. It does drive me nuts. And maybe it's because I'm old. Shannon, you're young. You're cool.
No.
So it drives you nuts too. Good.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear
that. Is that what we're talking about? What drives us nuts about kids? Because I feel like we could really go there.
I think we should talk about what drives us nuts.
Is there a teachable moment in that?
Oh, look at wise Steve
is it a losing
trying to bring
battle?
wisdom
No,
out.
I would like to just continue to talk about what makes me really
go
mad.
ahead. Go on your rant,
I'm just kidding.
That one does bother me, especially if
too.
we're like one-on-one talking, in the car driving, even if we're on a road trip, and they're. Dude, all these things drive me nuts. It is true.
It all goes back to the way that cell phones have destroyed our ability to be present. Like, right?
Dude.
They wouldn't be listening to music like that if they. I don't feel like I'm all because my generation would have been on like a Walkman or a CD, a compact disc portable player.
Boombox on the shoulder.
Some people might not know what a CD is, so I just have to, clarify.
8-track cassette in the car. Yeah.
But like, did we do that? Did we as soon as Walkmans came out? Like,
all right, I have to show you guys something.
No.
This was my first cassette player.
It just has it there.
Wow. He was just on a walk this morning with that.
Then this is my second.
Wow.
Do you guys remember these?
Yeah, I remember that.
Dude, so oh my gosh, there's a CD in
What
here.
is it? What is it?
It's my parents' band.
It's great.
So I had the Walkman, the cassette one, and then I had the CD Walkman. And you're right, I did on the bus ride on a youth trip in youth group. We all had our headphones in.
Okay.
So to be honest, if I'm honest, I'm no better than our kids. It's just that I never wore headphones during youth group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or when I was talking with someone. And I think that you're right. How do we help kids? What are they listening to that's impacting them, influencing them? And then how do we help kids engage in what we are trying to influence and impact? Right?
So you can use that as information gathering on what they're listening to or what they're into, right? But you also can, once you have a relationship, hopefully you can move them past that a little bit into, why do you feel the need to have that in your ears when you walk into a room full of people who are here to be the family of God?
Yeah.
What is that?
I just saw a video someone posted like this montage of what pop artists are doing on stage right now and how over the top sexual they are. And it was just like a 3-minute, 2-minute thing that someone posted, and I'm watching this, and these are like award-winning young 22-year-old real top of the game artists. And it is what they're doing on stage is insane. I'm just assuming that what kids are listening to is crap.
Yeah, probably.
It's just awful.
Probably.
And I start to listen to it. Like not my wife, my daughter keeps us in the know. So she'll tell us what she's listening to. I'll try to listen to it. I'm like, this is crap. No, I can't. I don't want to be the cool youth pastor who knows all the lyrics to this. I just can't do it. I'm past that point.
So I have a 5th grade daughter. So she is starting to dabble into the listen to what she wants to listen to and what her friends are listening to. And songs are just I feel like that's the age you start becoming a little bit more independent in your music.
Yeah.
And so we're headed there. And I have literally Googled to try to figure out what one of the songs meant. Because I'm like, what are we singing in the
What
car?
is
And
this?
what in the world does this mean? Like, because I have no idea. And honestly, the internet didn't know either. But it's like, I'm like trying to figure out like how horrible it actually is. And the message actually is as she like dives into it. But
So do you think, I'm asking this for myself, I'm turning 60 in like 2 months. Do you think that, first of all, there's no way I can keep up with it? I just can't. If I turn to Spotify now and I looked at the top 100 songs, I wouldn't know more than 2 of the artists. So
It's true. I'm with you.
I can't keep up with it. Nor do I desire to. That, I think that's okay. But like, so what is my role in speaking into that? I can't keep up with it. So I can't be like, hey, tell me about this thing, because I understand what you're listening to. I'm familiar with her or whatever. I can't do that. So, but I can bring something to that conversation, maybe that's not judgmental, but steers them in a more positive direction. Is that possible, or is that a totally losing proposition?
We did do a night where, and I used to do this all the time, and I thought about it. Man, I haven't done this for 15
like a
years.
discernment type night.
We would.
you say you burned CDs. Is that what you're gonna say?
No, we did a night where we talked
burned
about
his Partridge Family CDs.
All right. Well, I actually played short pieces of artists.
Yeah.
Who probably 15 artists. I had my daughter put it together, who are followers of Jesus, and they're making art today.
Okay.
And we exposed them to, here's some artists. May not be singing Christian per se. They're not singing worship music.
Yeah.
None of them were worship artists. But and then we talked about how important it is that what we watch, what we listen to, does make an impact.
Sure.
And here's some things that you can watch and listen to that
Philippians
actually
4:8.
could feed your soul. And the kids loved it.
Okay. Yeah. Then they went out to their cars and drove home and put on whatever they wanted.
That's right. Exactly.
I'm going to say I was that high school student, college student, maybe even today. It's like it is hard to put into practice knowing what kind of an influence music can have and not listening to what is popular and on the radio or whatever.
I will say this. I never listened to music. So your generation, Shannon, listened to like rap was huge in your generation. Rap was huge in my generation, but this was pre over the top sexual lyric rap. The music I listened to that was rap was like fun and funny, witty, and then it became angry, and then it was degrading to women, and that became normal. And I've never listened to music that was over the top sexual, that pushed that. But I remember listening to angry music.
Yeah,
I still love like Rage Against the Machine or dude, like and I'm sure it has an impact on me, but the overtly over the top, I'm sounding like an old fogey, sexual stuff, I have a problem with it because I feel like it shapes young people
absolutely
in how they view their own sexuality, other people's sexuality. I think it has it just has a huge impact.
It's a form of pornography in a sense.
It is.
The impact that's having on your beliefs on sex and fantasy and all of those things are being impacted not just by the images you see, but what you hear. Right?
Yes.
So maybe one of our roles does sound like we're old. I don't know.
We are.
I want to inspire this generation to have sensibility and discernment and taste. And I think it's fair to say that a lot probably most of what lives in our culture lacks all of that. I think there's a role we can play in some fashion to kind of drive our kids into a more discerning, artistic sense of God's beauty in music and art that's healthy. Like whether we expose them to that, whether we use opportunities to teach on that, whether we ask them questions about what they're listening to, maybe even, find out what they're listening to and then kind of unpack it for them. Like, do you realize what you're listening to? Have you thought about this? Would you read this out loud to me right now?
Yeah.
Maybe we can begin to shape them in a different form.
I saw a comedian that did a bit. He read 2 songs. One was a song that has been canceled from our culture because it's been viewed as demeaning. It's called Baby It's Cold Outside. It's a classic Christmas song.
Mm-hmm.
And then he sang the number 1 song on the radio that was so overtly sexual, and he just went back and forth. And it was so amazing to go, so this song is unacceptable and this song is fine. How crazy.
Yeah.
Upside down. Now, I'm not saying that Baby It's Cold Outside is a good song, but it was just very
good new versions of it. I do think one of our roles is to inspire kids to ask better questions of what they are consuming in every area of their life, and music is a big one of that. But music, what they're watching, whatever they're intaking, what questions are you asking about it, or are you just taking it in, and are you just allowing influences to influence you, or are you asking questions about it? Are you thoughtful about it? Are you pondering?
It's so hard. I feel like we're trying to dry them off while they're still in the water.
Oh, great visual.
It's just
say more.
They're just so immersed in the culture, and here we are with an hour a week trying to put something into their heart, into their spirit that's different. So kind of segueing to our last section for today, like we use the phrase when we aren't landing our punches. We love our students so much. They do things that drive us nuts, like wear their headphones into the group. And we know that their minds and ears are filled with stuff that is just destroying their souls. Yet we have some role to play in redirecting them. So how do we know, how do we land a better punch? How do we counterbalance the culture in any discernible, measurable way?
My dad, every Friday I would come home from school and there would be a brand new cassette tape at the time of a Christian artist. So every Friday I knew I'd come home and there would be a new band sitting on my bed. After the cassette, it was the CD, a new CD every Friday sitting on my bed. And what he did is he never said you're not allowed to listen to Pearl Jam, or you're not allowed to listen to Bon Jovi or whoever, Madonna.
So mild.
Or
so mild.
It was, he never said you can't listen to something. It was exposing me to a broader palette. And I listened to both, and enjoyed both, loved both. And then when I started to, when I would bump into music that was bad for my soul, I recognized it. Just exposing, because music culture has changed so much. Music and Christian artists and youth pastors were in cahoots forever. From the 70s on. In the last 15 years, not at all. Music used to be made for kids. It was the target. We are going to make music for kids. And they would come to youth specialties, and they knew they're going to play at YS for free because they knew they were going to stand in front of 5,000 youth workers, and then those youth workers were going to bring them to their youth group or go see a show.
Yeah.
And so there is no like coming together, and we don't even, as youth workers, I feel like today now we need to start doing the work again. And the first step might just be, here's some cool music that you might like, and just broadening their palette a little bit.
So fascinating, because I've been part of conversations on the flip side where it's like, let's use secular music to invite outsiders in, right? And you're discerning what the message of the secular music is, right? Like, you're not playing whatever.
I want your sex, baby.
Yeah.
That one.
Yeah, we're not playing that one.
What is that?
That's so old. That is so old.
Is that like 91?
I don't
even know what that is.
No. Okay.
Salt and pepper. Salt and pepper.
All right, dude. I had discerning taste even back in 91.
I'm not going to lie. The artist that I was going to say is so offensive that I was afraid to say it because people
That's
would
why
judge me for knowing it. Yeah,
I stepped in for you.
But anyway, it's so interesting because, we're like, on one hand, we want to, be playing these Christian artists for exposure. And on the other hand, we want kids to like think we're cool. I mean, I'm not saying we do this, but that is a trend in ministry, to use these songs that they know. So when they show up at an environment, they're like, I recognize this song or whatever. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think there's nothing wrong with that either. I love Steve Taylor's, who's a classic Christian artist, wrote a book called Roaring Lions. And it's all about discipling teenage kids who are artists to go out into the world and make great art.
Yeah.
Not make contemporary Christian music per se, but to go into the world and to make great art because they serve a God who is the ultimate artist.
Yeah.
And I also think that's part of our role now. We live in the LA area, and most of my youth group, everyone seems to be able to play an instrument and sing, and they're making art, and they go to schools where the focus is acting or painting, and it's all these art kids, and still, massive athletes. I want to encourage them to make art that glorifies God.
Yeah.
And so I'm exposing them to great art that does that, whether explicitly or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think breaking down that wall between the secular and the sacred,
Yes.
and helping kids understand that God made us creative beings, making art brings glory to Him, and then helping them kind of discern their spirit. Like, okay, that means I shouldn't be indulging in this stuff over here because this is not glorifying to God. Can begin to shape their worldview a little bit. The bottom line is, guys, we're not going to be able to win this battle with that many of our kids, right? There is just too much to overcome. But maybe with some, and maybe the some that we are able to influence become the future of the church and art and music, and they are the ones who are going to influence another generation of that.
And I do think that we can provide them tools for discernment that read into what they do with their lives, what they listen to, X, Y, and Z, that will stay with them. And whether they're exercising and using those two tools always, but I do think those tools will last and stick with them, and that it will come back to them in moments of their lives, and they will be like, wait, remember? Or when they have kids, they're going to be like,
kids,
wait, remember? Remember that what I'm listening to in the car is going to, shape my kid.
You know what it reminds me of, Brock? I think you'll relate to this. Today's kids are going to be like, when they're 40 years old, they're going to play some song they remember from when they were 17, and their kid's going to be in the car. They're going to be like, oh crap, I forgot that's what was in the song. I
Mhm.
can't play
Oh,
that for
yeah.
my kid. I'm thinking about the 80s movies, the 70s movies that I
Oh my
watched, you know.
gosh.
And then when I wanted to show to my kids when they were little, I'm like, oh my gosh, I forgot all the language in the Bad News Bears. I can't
Yeah.
show this to my kids.
Oh, dude, the Bad News Bears was vulgar.
It's-
Those little
yeah,
kids could
I
curse,
know.
man.
I think that's gonna roll again another
Yeah.
20 years from
Oh, yeah.
today's teenagers, you know.
Oh,
So you're right,
especially
Shannon. We're planting seeds, hopefully to shape them at least enough to remember what we said.
Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah, I do think that kids, I was shocked. We did an opinion night, and one of the questions that or statements that we threw up on the screen was that the media we listen to, I said the media that we listen to does not impact us in our lives. Agree with the statement or disagree with the statement. And then in small groups would talk about it, and then we would debate.
okay.
And the majority of the whole youth group was like, we disagree with the statement. The media we consume does impact us. And I was shocked that the consensus was so overwhelming.
Yeah.
Because I remember back in the day when it was like, no, it doesn't impact me that I listen to whatever.
Yeah.
And kids know that it impacts them,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
which is a good thing. That's a good thing.
That's a tool right there. Just the knowledge.
Mm-hmm. Well, fun, guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, it was really hard figuring out what to talk about today, but this was good.
We're all over the map today.
We had some good topic ideas, but Steve wasn't feeling anything.
Let's-
Guys, the listener needs to know it was really Steve. He
It
wasn't feeling anything.
100% Steve. But this is a good point. Let's ask our listeners to write in and tell us what they'd like us to talk about. Steve will not listen to your ideas.
No,
but you can let him know what you want him to talk about.
Yes.
It's fine. All right. We'll do better next time. It'll be great.
Awesome,
hey guys. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna go listen to some, I don't know, something wholesome.
Marilyn Manson.
There you go.
I'm gonna go listen to the #1 song on Spotify right now.
Okay.
What do you think that is?
Don't do it.
What do you think?
All right, hold on. Before we go, look up the #1 song on Spotify, and let's see the three of us if any of us knows who the artist is.
Okay.
Like we don't have to name it. He's gonna say it, and we have to say if we've ever heard of them.
Oh, okay.
Right? Or you want us to guess? Like I couldn't pull a name out of.
No, I can't guess.
No.
So you say what it is, and Shannon and I will tell you if we know who it is. #1 song.